Hello and welcome to an all-new adult erotica in comics. You're watching SVon82. I am Scotty, your underground comic-loving friend, and boy do I got a good video for you guys today. We're going to be talking about an animator and creator that is responsible for not only some beautiful and amazingly identifiable, he has his own very, very unique style, but he's also responsible for many of the cartoons that I grew up on as a kid. Of course, we're talking about Mr. Bruce Timm. I hope that you'll stick around. Now, before we jump into today's video, I got a big announcement I want to share with you guys. SVon82 channel memberships are now up. For $1.99 a month, you can become a member of the SVon82 channel, and it will help me. I'm going to put the money back into the channel to improve the quality of the content for you all. And I also am a recovering addict. I have over 4 years of sobriety, and I want to help some of the recovery groups here in the community. I want to help some of these new addicts that go in without so much as a t-shirt on their back. I want to get a lot of the necessities and do drop-offs at places like Cadis here in Chattanooga that are helping recovering addicts. I was there once. I know what it feels like to have to start over, and I want to round up a bunch of the necessities and do some really nice drop-offs at these places. I want to do some really good things in the community, and the memberships will help me to do so. They will also help me improve the quality of the content I make here on the channel. So I ask that you please consider joining the SVon82 membership. If you can't though, I do appreciate you just watching the video. That helps me more than anything. And I am extremely grateful for you all. Now, that being said, I do have 3 people that joined the channel membership this week, and I wanted to shout them out really quick before we jump into today's video. Here are my first 3 members. Brian from Brian LCS. We have Stu from Dr. Doom's fan club. And last but not least, we have Chris, the comic vet. 3 fantastic gentlemen in the comic book community. If you have never checked out their channels, they all do outstanding comic book content. Be sure to check them out. Now on to the video. Bruce Walter Timm was born on February 5th of 1961 in Oklahoma. He was the 3rd born of 4 brothers. His father was an engineer and his mother worked for the telephone company. Though born in Oklahoma, his family would move to Ohio when he was still really young. And by the time he was 5 or 6 years old, they had relocated to California. His interest in creating art and drawing was very much present from a young age, and he would grow to love comic books around the age of 12. He was a huge fan of 1960s Batman TV series. This was Bruce Timm's first exposure to superheroes in media. Bruce would go to college, only to drop out after about a year due to horrible grades. He had begun working full-time at a Kmart. While working there, he discovered a Filmation ad inviting new artists to take a layout test. He applied in 1980, but wasn't offered the job and continued working at Kmart. The next year, when Filmation began hiring again, Timm passed his second attempt at their layout test, and that was his entrance into the world of animation. He would work on layouts of Flash Gordon, He-Man, She-Ra, Black Star, as well as the Lone Ranger. He did some background work on G.I. Joe as well. He worked for the likes of Ralph Bakshi and Don Bluth Productions. He attempted to work at DC and Marvel as well, but to no success. During an animator strike in '82, the work would dry up, and Bruce went back to Kmart for 6 months or so, before Don Bluth would hire Bruce Timm to help work on The Secret of Nim. Then, in '87, he was hired by John Kricfalusi to do some layouts for Mighty Mouse: The New Adventures, which would be at the time the most fulfilling job he had had in the animation business to date. He worked at DIC Entertainment on The Real Ghostbusters for 1 season in 1988, then joined Warner Brothers in 1989. At Warner Brothers, Timm worked on a childhood favorite of mine titled Tiny Toon Adventures. In the early 90s, Bruce Timm would work as the creator as well as producer for the DC animated universe. He worked alongside Paul Dini, who was a writer and producer on the project. He would team up with Tiny Toon's partner, Eric Radomski, to create the Emmy Award-winning Batman the Animated Series, which would premiere in 1992, which also led to the creation of the character Harley Quinn. He went on to co-create and produce the Superman animated series in September of '96. Through the rest of the 90s and the early 2000s, he would co-create and produce many more DC animated shows, including the new Batman Adventures, Batman Beyond, an animated version of Justice League in '01, Justice League Unlimited, Green Lantern animated series, and alongside Denny, he created the series Freakazoid. And that was in September of '95. He created all of the original character designs for the Batman animated series, with the exception of Mr. Freeze and Riddler, who were designed by Mike Mignola, and Man-Bat and Mad Hatter, who were created by Kevin Nolan. He shared character design duties on Superman and Green Lantern with James Tucker. Bruce Timm is also known to make cameo appearances in his own shows, such as in the Batman animated series, playing a toy shop owner, in Batman Adventures, and in Batman Beyond, he plays the leader of a Joker's gang. Those are just a few examples of many. His first ambition was to become a comic book artist, and he would produce many one-shots and miniseries for DC Comics. His early comic work was on He-Man and the Motu mini comics. They came packaged with the Mattel toys in the 80s. In 1994, he and Denny would win both an Eisner and a Harvey Award for Batman Adventures Mad Love. He would win the next year as well for his Batman Adventures Holiday Special. Bruce Timm would also work on future issues of Batman Adventures, as well as on Avengers and also Vampirella. He did the artwork for Flinch on the Vertigo imprint in 2000. Like I mentioned before, he co-created Harley Quinn and brought her into the mainstream DC universe. In '04, he released a 3-issue Harley and the Ivy miniseries. He drew the 1999 Avengers 1.5 special for Marvel. In 2005, contributed art to Conan issue 18 and a Black Canary short story for Birds of Prey issue 86. Bruce Timm provided the Harley Quinn origin story for Denny's Countdown in 2008. He has continued to do art in comics as well as the occasional cover art. Continues to do so to this day. But that's not why we're here, right? We want to talk about the girly stuff. We want to talk about his good girl art. Let's take a look at some of this. I personally really love Bruce Timm's style. I think that he draws the female body, obviously unlike anyone else. I think that I like the style because my mind is adapted to his animation from the cartoons that I grew up with. Who knows? All I know is that I love and admire his artwork. In 2012, Timm would release a book of erotic art, Naughty and Nice, the good girl art of Bruce Timm, showcasing more than 300 pencil, line, and full-color erotic drawings of women. In 2020, he released another book of erotic art called The Big Tease, a Naughty and Nice collection, showcasing more than 208 pencil, line, and full-color erotic drawings of women. I love Bruce's style. It's 100% authentic and completely unique. He lists artistic influences as Jack Kirby, Wally Wood, Frank Frazetta, Dan DeCarlo, Harvey Kurtzman, and so many more. He is also self-taught. He's a self-taught artist. He bases his style on his love for 50s and 60s era comics. Now, while I'm wrapping up today's video, I'll throw up on screen a little Bruce Timm slideshow, but I wanted to finish today's video by saying a very special thank you to the channel members, Brian LCS, Chris the Comic Vet, and Dr. Doom's Fan Club. Thank you all so much, as well as you guys watching the video. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll have a new video next Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. I have new videos every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time covering a brand new creator. I hope that there was a takeaway from today's video. If you did take something from today's video, please hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed so you'll catch the future videos that I'm dropping. And I hope you all have a fantastic week. Peace.